If you're not here, you're not in the business. This is one of the biggest shows for the trucking industry, and especially our clientele that likes the pretty trucks and lots of lights. That's who we sell to. We're a custom manufacturer. We're not a cookie cutter. We're not just trying to sell the cheapest thing out there. So it's extremely important for us to be at a show like this and be able to interact with the fleet managers and the buyers of those fleets, but then also the drivers, and you get good solid feedback on your products down here. As I describe this show to anybody, it is, you have to see it to understand what happens in our industry. Just the exposure of what you see here. It's not just a dump truck or a trailer world, and that's how they're transporting things. My first trip here 15 years ago, I thought that trucks existed in Somerset, Pennsylvania, and we were the only ones in the world that built dump trucks. It was one of those things where you see the industry for what you know of it at that point, and to walk around the trade show down here and just see all the different ideas and what's happening in our world and how they're transporting different products and in the trucking industry is awesome. And I grew up a truck driver's son. My father was drove truck for 35 years, and that's what I knew trucking was. At that point, that was him rolling out the door at 2 o'clock in the morning to go haul load, and I didn't know much else existed at that point. But to be able to see it down here, you can't ever understand what the value this show brings to people without being here. It's difficult to touch 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people in a weekend. Just for them to see our logo hanging above us on a sign, and not everybody here is a customer of ours, but everybody here is in the trucking industry. That goes a long way whenever those people move into a position whenever they're ready to purchase components, and they remember us being here. That's a big part of it. In years past, I can remember I've been here. This is probably 15 years since I started my career, and that was one of the biggest things, being exposed to the industry back then. I can remember selling quite a few trucks, being down here. A lot of times we bring stock trucks down here that we had built for dealers, and before we left for the weekend, we already had a customer ready to pick the truck up whenever I got home and got PDI'd. But then also releasing this prototype the way we did, it gave us a chance to interact with the people and ask questions. What do you think of this? Without just putting pictures out there and saying, come look at it. We're waiting for them to walk into our booth, so we know it's a qualified customer if they're in here checking it out. Some of the aspects that benefit J&J is obviously brand exposure. So there's a lot of truck drivers down here. They like the shiny stuff, and one of our best products, our bread and butter, is a polished aluminum. We were some of the first people in the industry to light up trucks, and we've been doing it for a long time. So the brand exposure is awesome. But then the other side of it is the networking with those drivers, being able to talk to them, let them crawl all over our trucks and point out some things that we do right, and some even make some suggestions of how we can change some things.